these are all different utilities. There are different issues at each plant, but we were able to get them tens of thousands of dollars in refunds, literally money back as credit to bill or as checks. But more importantly, is we fix those errors for these various accounts. And as a result, it's going to save them literally hundreds of thousands of dollars that they otherwise would have been paying out, never knowing that these were not set up correctly.
Hey, my name is Patrick Boyle. I'm the Executive Director of Ignite LI. We're the Manufacturing Trade Association representing companies here on Long Island. I get to go up to Albany, down to DC, and I get to talk about the great people here on Long Island that are doing phenomenal work in manufacturing, the wonderful products that we're making here on Long Island and the processes, and also talk about the challenges here too of doing business here on Long Island. We all know how astronomically expensive it is to do business here. And honestly, that's probably not going to change. Through government, through taxes, these costs are really the cost. But we stay here because of the wonderful labor force that we have here on Long Island. But the costs are the costs. And Ignite LI has teamed up with great partners to help reduce those costs, to enable our businesses to look to the future, right? To say, hey, listen, all right, if I could save money here, I can hire someone else to come in and work on the shop floor, or I can invest it into a new machine that's going to make us more productive, or I could save it for a rainy day. So we've teamed up with Mike Macchi of Strategic Cost Reduction Partners. Mike was, I think, probably the first meeting I took as a brand new baby executive director here at Ignite, and he's been doing a lot of really great work in saving manufacturers money, not just here on Long Island, but in the city, up in Connecticut, Massachusetts, all across the Northeast. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about what you do, how you do it, why you do it, and really explain the greatest cost savings that you can find?
Yes. Hey, Patrick, thank you. Well, all those factors you mentioned that make doing business so expensive in Long Island, and also where I live in the state of Connecticut, along with all those just normal things, there are all these other challenges that have been thrown at manufacturers the last couple of years: supply chain pressures, finding skilled workers, as you know, just so many various things. And then you throw in COVID on top of everything. So there's just so much coming at especially the small to medium-sized business owner that just doesn't have the staff or resources to react like some of the larger firms do. And those are especially the ones that we're here to help. So those are all the issues that I just mentioned that keep them up at night. But in the backs of their minds, you all know there are probably certain areas where they're probably spending too much, or are they being billed correctly? And we make it easy for them. My team of partners, we make it very easy for those business owners and CEOs to take a look at those in a very easy fashion. It doesn't take a lot of their bandwidth. We work on contingency. So it's basically free gut checks on very many services that we can help them with and just improve their bottom lines.
Excellent. Improving the bottom lines. I think what you mentioned earlier, a lot of the smaller companies that don't have the resources that the larger companies do. I think this is a great resource. It's a free resource for companies to maybe be a little more competitive with some of those larger companies, maybe a little more competitive with other regions of the world that are doing manufacturing that have a little more governmental resources than we do here in the United States. I think that's really wonderful. Now, you were doing work with NASC before. I wanted to talk a little bit about that work before and how it brought you to what you're doing here now.
Yes. When I first left the corporate world in 2016, I just realized I want to do something on my own, but it's got to be something I feel good about. It's got to be helping people. I grew up a Pratt Whitney kid in East Hartford, Connecticut. My father worked at Pratt Whitney for years. In the purchasing department, he had a lot of relationships with small machine shops, people that I know. I'd see them at picnics and things like that. And I saw the stresses they went under, especially starting in the 80s and early 90s. So it just planted in my mind, if there's a way for me to help folks like them, let me try to do that. And I became aware of this company, National Auditing Services Consulting in Monroe, Connecticut. I'd seen the work they've done. We had some shared clients, et cetera, and decided to align myself with them, partner with them. They focus primarily on manufacturers. So had a lot of success. You know, it took a little while to get off the ground running, but a lot of success in Connecticut getting significant refunds on very common bill code errors and various other meter reading errors, things like that, that manufacturers are very subject to. So built on that, have just gotten tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars for certain companies. That's really made a difference for them. They greatly appreciate it. I have a stack of testimonial letters from manufacturers all throughout New England, even throughout the country a little bit. So that's been great. The issue with working with them is once I help a manufacturer, we're done with our project. It's like they either walk away with found money and correct billing on the gas or electric bills, or they get the peace of mind that, okay, great, I am not in that like 65% or so of manufacturers that are being overcharged.
Sure.
But once we're done, they walk away with one of those two outcomes and I'm done. To expand on that and to help them in other ways, I partnered with other experts in other fields for services that every manufacturer, not every manufacturer in some cases, but most manufacturers have exposure in. I've added on to that, and that's how SCRP was formed.
Excellent, excellent. So I was going to ask, and I just wanted to go back. You mentioned that peace of mind that companies get from knowing, hey, I'm not spending more than I have to, or I'm spending correctly, or we could really be cutting savings across the board. That peace of mind, I think, is going to be very helpful for a lot of our manufacturers. So bottom line, real fast and dirty, why would a manufacturer want to work with SCRP?
Well, we make it really easy. I mean, most don't have the bandwidth or resources. They're focused on the day-to-day issues, just keeping, their inventory going out the door, trying to get the supplies they need to do to make what they make. So we're looking at those little holes, that just the small leaks in the boat, not the big hole that the iceberg could potentially put in, but all those leaks add up, and whatever we find, whenever we do find either cost reductions or refunds, that's right to the bottom line. It's very quantifiable. So it's just that peace of mind, like I've done everything I can to, keep every dollar I earn in the business so I can, as you said, reinvest it, support my team, et cetera. So the biggest thing is all these processes are very easy. You've seen the utility process. It's literally a one-page agreement. That's our letter of authorization to get historical data from the electric and gas companies. We do all the work with them. So I've had literally clients who've invested 5 or 10 minutes getting me that one-page agreement and a copy of a recent gas and electric bill. That 10 minutes has impacted them measurably, that they can actually see in black and white by tens of thousands of dollars.
Sure.
I literally like to say, and I actually truly believe it especially with the utility audits, there may be no single exercise that a company does in a fiscal year that could potentially have the ROI of this project. Where else could you spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes total putting something in motion that could impact you by tens of thousands of dollars? Not very often.
Excellent, excellent. So here's a curveball for you, and I don't think you're expecting this question, but in the past, you've gotten pushback from manufacturers. Say, "Oh no, we're not interested." What's the pushback that you get predominantly, and how would you answer that? What I love about this is it's such a no-brainer. There's truly no reason not to engage in this because, as I said, it takes some time. It doesn't cost anything unless there's only invoicing if we find something for you. My biggest pushback is either I don't have the time, and it's tough to sometimes tell people, you have to be gentle in saying, but you do have the time. That should not be a reason not to do it. Some people make it in their minds another project, and it's really not. That's my biggest challenge. This is not a project,
and it's a no-lose proposition. Those are, yeah, that's pretty much, I have a lot of people, I can't tell you how many people, oh, I want to do this. I'd meet them at a trade show. I'm going to do this. Call me next week. And you get them next week and they're totally like engrossed in everything they have to do right now. And if this goes on the back burner, it's never going to be, there's always going to be something on the front burner that you're putting a fire out.
I think that's a chief issue for a lot of our manufacturing execs and their whole teams, is that they're putting out day-to-day fires and they can't get their head out of their foxhole long enough to look around and to see, well, where is this business going, and where am I spending too much, or where do I need to grow, and what do I need to do? They're fighting those day-to-day fights and getting enough time to come out and take a deep breath and look around. That's a tough thing to do when you're running a business. So that's why I think it's critical to team up with folks like you that bring really great value to our CEOs and execs that are, quite frankly, they're very busy. I also wanted to talk about, you have a bunch of, you're not a one-man band. You got a bunch of partners that do a lot of really great things. That I think really bring a lot to the plate here. Can you talk a little bit about those partners?
Yes. So the utility refunds and audits are a very simple, easy thing, but like I said, one and done. So I partnered with other folks that are experts in their fields. I'm very careful about vetting them. They've all got decades of experience, impeccable integrity, et cetera, and processes that are very easy. It's, again, they're almost like, why wouldn't somebody do this? There's nothing to lose. So another large area that we can help, that SCRP can help with, is for example, an area where manufacturers have a lot of exposure, which is workers' compensation. I have a person who will do a deep dive. He's unbelievable. He's got excellent testimonials, worked with so many people. Do a deep dive on the workers' comp, find out, it's amazing how many people, with the utility refunds, it's about 65%, maybe in New York State, which is the best state for utility refunds, by the way, maybe even closer to 70% of the bills we look at, we're going to find something somewhere. His hit list is probably closer to 75% across the board. There's just workers' comp premiums are just loaded with areas where cost savings can be found and even refunds obtained. So that's a really great one. I have a person who, not many manufacturers really accept credit cards, but those who do, that's a tricky business. And there's a lot of nickel and diming and sneaky, like, rates slowly creeping up before you even notice it. My partner in that space, the credit card merchant processing space, is expert at dealing with manufacturers. I actually met her through a manufacturing association in Connecticut. We have a lot of shared clients. Her integrity is impeccable. And it's amazing how much can just be saved just by switching processors and some of the other advantages she brings, but just thousands of dollars a year in fees that just can stay in the business. And again, those go right to the bottom line, right to the profit margin. One of my partners, another area where not everybody has exposure, but some do, will do audits on shipping and freight, renegotiate better rates for FedEx, UPS, et cetera.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on that one. Doing business here on Long Island, obviously products have to come on island and then go off island. We do a significant amount of business to business here on island, but ultimately those finished products have to go over a bridge or a tunnel or by boat or by air. And those costs are significant for our manufacturers and our producers. And so any way that we can save in those costs, even just a little bit, I think really returns a lot of money to our bottom lines, really across the board.
Exactly. Yep. And there are other tools they bring to the table too. So it's just very much worth looking into if you have exposure. That's sometimes more suppliers. A lot of manufacturers will, the charges for shipping will get charged to their customers, so they don't have a lot of exposure. But for those who do, this is something that really should be looked at. They don't realize how much power they have to actually affect those prices.
Sure. Well, that's one thing that we have to think about. The cost of shipping usually, like you said, goes to the consumer. However, when we're competing as manufacturers with regions of the world like China or India or heck, even Texas, where the costs are cheaper. And ultimately, that's a decision that the consumer makes. We have to make it easier for those consumers to want to choose Long Island products. Exactly. And I think that by choosing Long Island products, we're obviously helping the local economy, but we're also keeping jobs here on Long Island as well.
Yeah, that's what I love about this. I really feel like so many of the small and medium-sized businesses, third generation, et cetera, you actually really made an impact. They're so appreciative of, even a few thousand, because they realize how much, how many products do I have to sell after I pay my rent, my salaries, et cetera, to net whatever profit I have. Why not keep every penny of it? So even a couple thousand, I always say, how many widgets do you have to sell to net a couple $1,000s of easy?
All right, we're getting to the end here, but I just wanted to quick 30 seconds. How does it work? I'm a manufacturer that's interested in at least having a conversation with you. What happens next?
So if they reach out to me, I will literally connect them out with one of my partners to actually answer the questions directly. So to keep this process very streamlined and to waste nobody's time. But most of them only take a few minutes to put in motion. It's again, the credit card, my credit card partner, perfect example, or the workers' comp. Just a couple documents, signature, there's a free proposal, a cost analysis provided, no obligation. I always tell people, if nothing else, it's just a gut check. It's just, putting a microscope on who you are using, making sure that, things are where they're supposed to be. And you'll be surprised where the results come out once in a while.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Mike, I just wanted to thank you for being here. Thanks for always being a consummate partner of Ignite LIs and really being a supporter of manufacturing here on Long Island. If our manufacturers want to get in touch with you, what's the best email and phone number to get you at?
I would just send an email to me. I'm on the LinkedIn, the Ignite Long Island side. I'm also easy to find on LinkedIn, but the email would be mmacchi, mmacchi at SCRPllc.com.
Excellent. All right, Mike. Well, hey, listen, thanks again for being here. Thanks for always being a great partner. Look forward to chatting with you again, okay?
Keep up the good work. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Take care.